Guys, welcome back to Dave Doc DIY. And today our topic is going to be bathroom faucets and what to know before picking out your new faucet and what you may run into when you try to install your new faucet. Now, I've been working in the trades over 14 years. I can't tell you how many hundreds, if not thousands, of faucets I've installed. I've seen every situation that you can run into. Some of them are very easy to get out, some are not. So I'm going to tell you what to make sure your new faucet has, what to look for underneath your sink when you're going to buy your materials, and essentially what can and can't go wrong in this process. Now, I've got a new microphone here to try to up the quality of the channel as we're growing here over 100K. Thank you very much. Let's get right into it. Now, the first thing that's important is knowing the size of your faucet. As you can see, this is an 8-inch spread faucet. I'm going to take my faucet here and put it right on these stems. That 8 inches right there shows you it is an 8-inch spread faucet. Now, a lot of faucets in the spread faucet area can go a little bit wider. It all depends on what type of vanity you have. But when you're looking online, you're most likely for faucets either going to see a 4-inch, which means it is the faucet that is usually in one piece. So the 4-inch spread will be a 3-hole basic sink that you're installing in. And right here is the 8-inch spread. So that's number one right there. Before you're looking at even removing your old faucet, make sure you're getting the right one to install in it. Now, another thing that you're going to be looking at that's obviously important is what brand of faucet are you going to get? I will say, in my time in the industry, a majority of the faucets I've installed have been Delta, Kohler, and Moen. Now, I don't think you can go wrong with either of those three. I personally prefer Delta and Kohler when it comes to my faucets in my own house. I actually think I have a decent amount of Kohler faucets in this house right now, but those are the brands that, let's be honest, have the bigger names. They usually have a good warranty that backs up the product that you're going to buy from them, and you can find them in all different kinds of price ranges. You can find them budgeted to high end. Now, if you're looking to get more into the budget brands of faucet, I think you run more risk of having cheap parts in there that are most likely going to go bad in the future. I would kind of stay in the mid-price range of Delta, Kohler, and Moen. Those are my three brands I suggest. I'm not going to sit on here and badmouth any other brands, but I'm just going to tell you those are the brands I suggest. Now, I'm going to pop under the sink and show you the things that you should be looking at before you go and buy your materials for this project. Just because you're replacing a faucet doesn't mean that other things below the sink are going to be fine as well. So let's get underneath the sink and I'm going to show you the steps you should take before you head over to the store to buy your new faucet. Now, while you're under the sink, what are you going to want to look at? You're going to want to look at your trap, which obviously this trap was replaced. And you're going to want to look at your shutoff valves right here. Now, if you have an old brass trap and you can see there's some buildup on here, it looks like it's a little rotted, that's something that may leak when you go to put it back in, or when you go to take it off, it may disintegrate. Now, you may be wondering, why is the drain even important? I'm replacing my faucet. Well, that's because when you get a new faucet, you're going to get a new tailpiece. As you can see, the pop-up for this matches to the faucet. So you're not just replacing the faucet, you're also going to be replacing the drain. Now, the next step that I would suggest is for you to run a test on your water shutoffs. I'm going to show you how I do that. We're going to come up here and I'm going to turn the cold water onto this faucet. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to shut off the valve to this faucet while the water's running. And as you can see, our water stopped. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the hot side. Come down here, turn my hot side shutoff off. And as you can see, we have two good shutoffs. That's very important because you don't want water leaking all over the place when you're putting the new one in. If you don't get a positive shutoff on those when you're doing that test, that just might mean that you need to shut off the main water valve to the house while you're replacing the faucet. Now, here we get into the other thing that is important, supply lines. As you can see, this, as I showed you above, is an 8-inch spread faucet. A lot of faucets nowadays come with the supply lines attached, but as you can see, this one did not. I had to buy a separate 3/8 by 1/2 inch faucet hookup for this, so that may be a situation you run into. Most faucets nowadays do tell you on the back of the box, though, if the supply lines are included. So that is one thing I would definitely look into. Look at the back of the box, and usually when it shows the tools or parts you may need, it will tell you if the supply lines are included in your new faucet. I'll say it's honestly rare nowadays anymore for a 4-inch spread faucet not to have the supply lines on them. It seems to kind of be the standard anymore. Now, another thing I would suggest is for you to get underneath your sink and look at the condition of where your faucet hooks up to the vanity top. Now, because this top area where a lot of water splashes and everything, you could have water that works its way down into here and it can rust out your parts. Your nut can get seized on there for you to take it off. So I'll say a lot of the hardest work is going to usually happen when you're laying down in here trying to loosen and take this off. And when it comes to the tools that you may need, I would suggest having a screwdriver, a smaller pair of pliers, and a basin wrench. I also would maybe suggest plumber's putty or clear silicone. Now, a lot of these tailpieces anymore don't have a regular pop-up on them, and I'll show you an example of that real quick. A lot of these tailpieces now are more so this style where it's the push button pop-up, which I think just makes for a lot easier of an install. So honestly, I would look for one of these because then you don't have to worry about putting your rod in the back here and having that mechanism, because honestly, this system has just been better. They're easier to clean out. You can just pull them right out. As you can see, there's a little bit of hair in there. And then you can just pop it right back in, and it's just simple use. A lot of these faucets also come with a specific tool to tighten on whatever size nut they have to hold on the handles or the stem. So a lot of them do come with a tool as well, but you are going to need your own tools. Again, on the back of the box where I told you to look if the supply lines are included, it will also tell you the tools that you are going to need to install that specific faucet. But again, it does not require an arsenal as long as it's not seized on there. So those are the basics of what you need to know before going to purchase that faucet and before you get into installing it. If you think there's anything I missed, obviously let me know. And if you have any questions, let me know. As I said to you before, we've recently gone over 100,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm trying to up that quality for you guys, and I'm trying to think of new ideas of things I can teach you, because obviously I've already taught a lot of people a lot of things on this channel. So I appreciate a like, greatly helps the channel. Appreciate a subscribe. Again, you have any questions, let me know in those comments. If I missed anything, let me know. If I said anything wrong, I know you'll let me know. So I'll see you next time on Dave Doc DIY. See you later.